Welcome to episode 68 of Sport SA Daily Diary. Today we're chatting to Paralympian sprinter Anrune Weyers. How are you doing, Anrune?
Well, I'm doing really well at the moment. Obviously, there are days where it's difficult more than others. I think I was so grateful when we had the opportunity when they announced that we can exercise outside between 6 and 9. The difficult part is, do I just choose myself to go run, or do I take our dog, Zara? It's a beagle, so she's very active. Do I take her for a run as well? So I think that was a difficult part between 6 and 9. It's a short period of time to train outside, but I'm grateful for that. And just being out there is really, it kind of just energizes me again and focuses me, because athletics and running helps me lose all my frustration and all my irritation. And it's a place where it's literally me and God, and we can, every step that I run or everything that I do outside, it helps me to grow. And it's also a platform where I believe I can help people to kind of use the gift they have. I really believe we all have a different gift, and mine is running, and I'm really grateful that I can do that. And I feel that sometimes we kind of measure ourselves to someone else and what they do, instead of finding our own gift and our own purpose. So I really think that running for me is a platform that give that. So I live for 69. I live outside, and I love just being active. It's difficult in Cape Town because it's cold in the morning. But just having a coffee afterwards, it kind of just makes you more grateful for small things. And further on, being home is also difficult. All the spaces is being used to also, when we had the lockdown, to gym. So we borrowed a lot of equipment from Stellenbosch University to use. So that's great.
Lockdown couldn't have been easy for you, being such an explosive athlete. For those doing a little bit of the longer distances, you can run around your house 25 million times like Ryan Sands did. But for yourself, you kind of lose that bit of explosiveness.
That was very tough. We luckily, like when they announced the lockdown 2 days before that, so we had time. My husband literally went on his phone and he messaged me. He was like, "Who has a treadmill?" And 5 minutes later, we had the treadmill, because he knew if he doesn't get something that I can run, the frustration levels are going to get high. So he figured out a treadmill for me, which is great. It helped so much. I think this treadmill has never been used as much. I think we need to oil it after this time. So that's something that's that helped quite a lot. But yes, it was difficult. Luckily, our coach Suzanne Ferreira at Stellenbosch and Sean Sermon, my gym trainer, wrote us a home program. And in the morning, I would do my session on the treadmill. In the afternoons at 12:01, I'll do a bit of core, and in the evenings, I'll have my gym session. So we made a hole in the wall at our backyard, at our bright area, to put an elastic to do some resistance training as well, and some jumps. And the best investment I've made is I bought those black spongy things that Mr. Price, I don't know if you know them, it's like quite soft that you can, and that was the best investment I have made, because I can train with that everywhere in our house and use that. But as a sprinter, a 400, 200 sprinter, it is difficult. And it's difficult to keep that, because we were in such a high, on such a high, and our performances were really great before the lockdown. We all ran PBs on the track, and we were excited for this year. So I think coming back from this high to being home and not being able to train with your group and to be outside and to do track training was very difficult.
And tell me, does your husband train with you, or is he more the support from the side of the track?
He's just next to me now, but he's busy on his iPad. So I'm laughing now when you ask that. So no, he's just a support. He did jog the first 2 or 3 weeks, to be honest, on the treadmill as well. He would do the session in the afternoon when I'm, or in the morning when I'm training after me. He would also do a run. But he's more the programming. He's the clever one. So he does more things like that. But he's a great supporter, and I think that's also important, very important for me as well in these times.
So diplomatically, you're saying he's not able to keep up with you?
Yes, in a way, but I didn't want to be rude because he's just next to me, so I didn't want to say that. But yes, we don't jog, and I know a lot of people say go jog with your husband and wife. Yes, we can do that, but it's like it's my time where I can go and run, and I don't need to tell him, you know what, I'm running 4 minutes okay or whatever, and you need to keep up. He has his own hobbies and things like that. So I think it's important that we don't share that, but we share so much more other things that we like, and it's important that it's my work basically. So I don't think you can tell someone, you know what, stick with her, because he's gonna he's tried to keep up, but it didn't succeed.
Doesn't work.
No.
And then take us back a few years. From the records that I've got, you only started athletics at the age of 18. Were you not running at school in your younger years?
Yes, I did. Yeah. So I only did disabled sports from 2010. That was my debut internationally in disabled sports. But before that, I was an able-bodied athlete. Able-bodied athlete. Sounds weird if you say that, but I competed amongst able-bodied athletes from grade 4. I've been to. I actually was more cross-country runner in primary school. And then in my high school, I developed more to the 800 and 1.5, and actually received the bronze in the 800 in my matric year when I was 18 at the SAS. So I needed to change, because in disabled sports, in my category I'm in, I'm a T47, so it's an arm amputation, and then you get the 46, which is your whole shoulder. So the category I'm in, there's no 800 and 1.5. So we needed to change my events to 400, 200. So I actually became a sprinter in 2010, and we developed that. And I actually felt last year was my first time I felt like a sprinter. It takes a long while for someone to switch over from doing long things to speed.
I mean, it must have been quite a difficult thing to change, because I was a runner at school, the 8 and the 1500. Yes. There's no ways I could have done 400. I mean, it was just too fast. It was a long way, but it was just too fast. So how did you actually make that change?
So my coach is incredible. She's like our mentor. She's a coach. She's a mom, my third mom. I will always call her third mom. But she's her knowledge and her way of leading us is incredible. And our group's name is Run Free, and we believe that our group runs free for God, and we're all Christians, so we share that, and we share building that. So what happened when I met her the first time, she told me it takes 2 to 3 years to develop someone to change events, and I was like, what? That's a long way to go, and that's very true. I think if you move from 800 to 1.5, because I was very lean built, I didn't have a lot of muscles, which is an 800 1.5 athlete, and I didn't use my arms so much, and that's where the 400 comes in. You got to have strength and muscle. So the first few years I was with her, I didn't gym. We started doing a bit of rehab and just getting my body ready to go to the gym, and then we started slowly progressing. And it's I think my 8th year in the gym now, and it's crazy that I'm only seeing now that my body's changing to more a sprinter to the 400 and 200. So I think the changeover was I need to get a bit of more muscles, and sometimes it's difficult to see my body change as a female and as a long distance runner, to see that my hammies are getting big, or my glutes are getting big, or my arms. If someone says I'm a CrossFitter, I'm like, shucks, no, I don't want to be that. But in a athletic perspective, that's what a 400 to 200 is. You need to have strength. And to take you to that whole 400, and to make sure that you use all the energy, all the power you have to sprint.
So when did you make that change? Because you won the 2011 world, second in the 2011 World Champs for 400 meters. So if you only changed in 2010, that's a pretty remarkable turnaround.
Yes. For sure. I think, obviously, if I think back now, we weren't a lot in the 400 in that competition that we had, 2011. And if you put it in perspective in times wise, I think my time was a 59, which is not really great, if I put it that way, but we didn't have a lot of competition. So I was privileged enough to get the silver medal, but if you put it in we were only 7 athletes competing. We don't have a heat. So but that was definitely the starting block of me dreaming, and and thinking, this was a second place, and those are 59, but I know that I can be more, I can be better, and I can go back and work on that time. And thinking back now that I ran at 55, now my goal is to run at 54 at Tokyo 2021. So it's crazy. It's cool to have that setting block to work from.
And take us, back to school a little bit before we get on to your career. Kids can be pretty mean and ugly when they're young. Did you find sport as a way to sort of just release and get back and, almost not be accepted, but,
Yeah.
push away any negativity?
For sure. When you say that, that's exactly when I share my story or when I share a bit about who I am, that's one of the things, the core things I get to. Bullying is a real thing. And kids can be very, very, very cruel with words. And I don't always think they realize what they say, how they
Yeah.
say it, and what impact it has on a person and their development from a young age. So, I think if I remember back, we were only 600 kids in my primary school, and I think every second day I would come back home with red eyes, being bullied. My first reaction was hitting them with my hand, which is pity. I would normally hit them, which didn't result in a good. It didn't end up being my mom and dad coming in and talking to me and kind of that's not the way to react in this way. I must use my words, which also didn't help in a way, because if you're frustrated, you can't use words. So athletics was a part where I grew self-confidence when I did it. I was good at it. When I started, I wasn't that good, but it was every step that I took. I felt, you know what, this is my place. My place where I could feel Anrune grow in a person she needs to be. I have a lot of freckles as well, and when I was little, the freckles was such a huge thing I was bullied for, and my hand as well. And running kind of made me realize, you know what, that's Anrune. With the freckles and with the left hand, that's me. And they would always say the one girl running, and I would also, when I was little, I thought it was harsh. But thinking back now, I realize that was me. That's part of who I am. As the girl with the one hand, with the freckles, with my curly hair, with all the descriptions people would give, that's who I am. And running was part where I gained self-confidence and where I met amazing people. And I'm fine with Anrune being the runner, linked to the one-hand runner, because that was my plan. That's still my plan, to use that. So, the cool part why I became a teacher was my grade 1 teacher. She actually, every time someone bullied me, she would take me to the class. She would have a discussion with them that we all are unique, we all are different, all have something, and this is my hand, and we need to accept that. And that's something I cherish as well, and I want to teach that to kids as well, to tell them we all are different. And if you have a moosey, or your one eye is strange, or your pinky doesn't go straight, or whatever it is, we all have something that's different. And I think that's quite important to give that back to kids, because that's a struggle when you're being bullied. Or you struggle with a learning disability or whatever you're going through. My thing was just you can see it, where a lot of people has a disability that you cannot see. Instance when you have dyslexia, people won't see it, but when you start reading, they're like, well, what happened to that person now? So I think that's also, it kind of challenged me to know I've got a role to play, to teach kids and people around the world that do not judge a book by its cover or how they look. Give them time and listen to their stories.
Well, you've certainly got some competitions on the freckle side, because I'm pretty much covered in them head to toe as well. And is that why you became a teacher, and have you kind of used that learning combined with your success in sport to be able to be a voice for those that are in a position of difficulty?
Yes, for sure, definitely. I think that I have the disability to use in a positive way. So that's definitely a reason why I became a teacher, and as well to kind of tell everybody that they are unique. And I, as a teacher and facilitator, I'm going to help them develop that character and the person they can be, and help them with the knowledge that I have to teach them where I can. My most important thing that I've learned is you got to connect before you can teach. I cannot stand in front of a class of 25 kids, or in my where I taught at the special needs school, I only had 5 kids. I cannot teach them if they don't know who I am, and they don't need to know my name and my surname. They just need to know that I love them, that that's a safe space to learn. It's a safe space to be frustrated, to hit me, to want to hug me, to do whatever. But I think that's a very important thing that I've learned, because when I was little and I went through that, I just needed a safe atmosphere and a vulnerable space where I can just tell them I'm sad or I'm uncomfortable or I cannot do that. And I think that's an important thing that I want to give back to that community. And it's crazy how it worked out when I taught at the special needs school. And it was actually someone that saw me work with her kid that's disabled. And she encountered me and asked me, would I like to work there? And my whole life has changed. I struggled with the fact that how am I going to teach kids that have special needs and I am disabled? I thought if I'm a parent and I come into a classroom and I see this teacher doesn't have a hand, how, like, I'm going to be like, shucks, she's going to teach my kid. Is she okay? So that was a question that was it quite hit my heart and my mind. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take time to just think like how. And I'm actually the ideal person to do that because I went through all those things and I can help them also work through that. Because if you break that barrier that they have and the world have, then you can teach them and you can teach them whatever you can teach them with the knowledge you have and open up areas that they can explore and learn new things. Sorry, I talk a lot.
No, please, it's good to have a chat to someone that talks a lot. Anrune, you've certainly led from the front, and your athletics speaks for itself. As mentioned, you've had huge success on the track. You've had silver medals at the London Olympics and bronze, silvers in World Champs. And then obviously last year you got gold for the first time in the 400 meters. Was that the highlight of your career to date?
Yeah, for sure. Last year was one of the best years in my athletic career that I can think of. It's kind of also emotionally, if I think back of it, obviously reflecting now and having a lot of time. My coach always tells us to write down, like especially after races or to know how you felt and to be reminded of that. And I have a book, and I have it closed down now, but I have a book where I wrote all my training sessions, how I felt, and then my main important thing was to connect with God on the track and to really pray that He can help me through every step that I take on the track. And last year was definitely one of those moments where like I was connected all the way with Him, and it was not just me, it was a team effort. It was my gym trainer, it was my training group, it was my husband, it was my mom, my dad, my whole family supporting this dream. And I could feel it. It was kind of like I had a warmth in my heart knowing, you know what, I'm not doing this alone. And world champs, like if I look back, the medals is incredible that I had that. But having that moment of running free and running flowy, if I look back at my races, like I kind of get excited to go do that again. Because running it's almost like when you're a dog and you were kept in lockdown or in your house and your door opens and you have this moment to be free. Running is that for me. I feel free and that was last year. Was every session I took, I felt like I was flying. Some of the sessions that I wrote down, I didn't even look at the time. I knew I ran a PB in some of my sessions, and that just shows that I started feeling how it feels if you run fast, and that's magical. That's something that I cherish. So thinking back of last year, in 2016, I really have a difficult time to build up to last year. My dad is an alcoholic and he's clean now for 4 years this year, which is amazing. And that's something that we can celebrate with. But in 2016, he had that, and I had 2 knee operations. So everything felt like and running was a place where I could just escape, exactly. And just thinking back of last year that we went through all those things was just, it was incredible. And it just made me realize, you know what, maybe my story of all my struggles can help a lot of people as well, that the light can shine at the end, and we all go through difficult things. And you got to find something that can help you to overcome all those things.
And I mean, Anrune, you said it makes for other people the ability to learn and help them. Did that period help you and make you stronger and make you more determined to get onto that track and win that gold and that silver and that bronze? Because I mean, that World Champs, you got a full house.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was, definitely. The fact that actually that year I didn't want to run anymore. After my 2 knee operations, after going through quite a lot with our family, like I had a lot of time as well, and I was like, you know what, I have so many injuries. How am I going to be able to run again? The doctor told me that I'm going to run with a knee brace when I'm older. And I was like, shucks, that's terrible because I don't want to be that person. And I remember my mom has a thing, take day by day. And I remember my coach, we had coffee and we were like, you know what, we're going to take it day by day. And that was the best lesson I can give anybody. Even now, we got to take day by day. It doesn't help we think of months or years before us. We got to work day by day and do what we can. And that was definitely, it inspired me to think, you know what, I'm not done yet. There's so much more that I have in my body to go. In that year, 2016, I only dated my husband. We started dating 2015, and he stuck with me through 2016, where I had a lot of tears, a lot of injuries, and I was a terrible. Like, he saw my terrible side, and he was with me all the way. So I think knowing that he was there and knowing Nick last year we had this high, it's something special to share all these moments with people and people that invest in you and people that follow your story or follow your moment, and people say, you know what, I've also been through difficult things and it's amazing to see you overcome them and shine. And it's something that I believe I can give back as well to people, to tell them it's going to be okay. You're going to end up on that high again, and try and focus on what you can focus on.
And I mean, Anrune, you're an incredibly passionate person and emotional person. What was more emotional for you in winning that gold? Coming over the finish line first, or standing on the podium, having your national anthem played across the stadium, having a gold medal put around your neck? I mean, that must have been almost tear-jerking stuff.
Yeah, so I would definitely say over the line, for sure, because that's something, and any athlete, when you run over that line, just knowing you've raced the race. We train 4 years cycles for that one race. If it's 60 seconds or 55 seconds or whatever your goal is to go and do, you train for that one moment. So when I finished, all I could think of is throwing my hands in the air, just thanking God for being healthy and being back and being Anrune again. The Anrune that's passionate, that's energetic, that celebrates with the teammates, that loves what she does. And that was something that I was excited to share that moment with. And I can still remember, I still get goosebumps when I think of it, that the moment that I went over the line was just to thank God and to go to every person I raced with and congratulate them, because if it wasn't for those 8 people, they also would have motivated me to be out there, and they share the same passion that I do, and that's running. And that's something very important to also tell people, that it's always not about just the medal and the record that you race, but it's also to acknowledge people along your road, because it can be a very empty medal. It can be a moment that's lost. And that's something very important as a sport person. Tell people that it's not just about the medal, it's about that moments where you felt you're going to give up, the moments where you had injuries, the moments where you felt, you know what, I cannot do this. And that's more valuable as well. So the medal speaks a story, and it's not just gold, silver, bronze. It speaks so much, and everybody has a different story to theirs. So yeah.
And you chat about acknowledgement. In my opinion, and it's an opinion of one, I don't believe the Paralympians actually get the credit that they deserve, both in terms of support financially from corporate South Africa, but also in terms of support from the fans of South Africa. You kind of see the Springboks, and they come back from winning the World Cup, and the airport is jam-packed, which they deserve. Don't get me wrong, they 100% deserve. But do you not feel that the Paralympians that come back with probably more medals in the bag than the rest of the sort of able-bodied athletes do after the normal Olympics, do you think that the Paralympians get the credit they deserve? And why don't you think they do? And why should South Africa give the Paralympians more credit?
That's a very good question. That's something that we all go to that. And not to be honest with you, no, we do not get the recognition they do. There is a lot of areas where sponsorships, where we don't have the fully the 100% media capacity that able bodies do have, the Olympics do have. That's one of the reasons they would say your platform is not, there's not a lot of people that are following that. And that's the one thing that when I came back from All Champs, I decided, you know what, if I'm that one person that can help, I'm going to try and put that word out there, that it's not just about sponsoring someone, it's so much more. It's investing in them and in what their dreams and what their goals are with your company and with your person. So I truly believe that parallel athletes actually have that opportunity to give that to companies, not just for the financial area, but to sponsor the story and to help them to kind of build their brand. So that was one of my things I wanted to go out and just tell people, you know what, we have a story. So that's one of the things I don't get why they don't want to support us, because we have such incredible stories. Not that I'm saying the Olympics don't. They also have their challenges. We have overcome something, and we can help people to share our stories so that they can share their stories. And maybe we can relate. People can relate to our stories. Someone without a hand could maybe relate to me, and they're going through something. And my story can just help them and empower them to work through that and share that with some people that are going through the same thing. So the fact that there's not a lot of sponsorships is sad, because we have a lot to give. And I sometimes say to people that want to climb aboard my Anrune and my brand, it's not just about the money, it's about the story and helping them. So that's important. But yeah, there is a big lack. And I trust as well that if you're that one person and I'm that one person that use the platform to share all the sporting codes and to share stories, hopefully people can see that, and we can create a platform that companies and sponsorships can invest in that, and help build their brand, our brand together as a team. So yeah, it's really difficult. And I've encountered quite a lot of people and asked them. I've sent my CV to so many people and companies. It's crazy. And their feedback, sometimes it's sad that we don't have the platform, or not a lot of people watch Paralympics or follow that. And a lot of people think it's easy. Oh, you know what? Paralympic athletes, it's easy. You just go there, you use your hand, you go there and you run, and that's it. It's not like that. It's not like that. We need to figure out new ways of strengthening our disabilities. Not that I'm saying everybody don't have that. We all have our struggles, but it's sometimes it kind of hurts when people say it's so easy to go get that medal, or that, because there's not a lot of people competing or that. So it's kind of the knowledge about Paralympics. There's a lack in that, and that's where it comes in. We need to share the knowledge of what is my class and how it works, and that. So we need to use that even more.
Do you think there's possibly the problem is starting higher up, in terms of the fact that the Paralympics may be seen as a sideshow to the Olympics, and maybe they actually need to be separated completely, held in separate years, or whatever it is? I don't know what the answer is, but do you think either they need to be done together in one competition, or they need to be separated completely?
That's a very good question to ask. I think a lot of us have thought about that. I think we're not valued the same. And that's the biggest concern for me, is that Paralympics is not valued to that. Where the word Olympic and Paralympic, it's parallel. That's where it comes from. And we're not, I personally think that it's not valued and it's not seen as something that's exactly the same. And I get some people say we cannot compare it to a Wade van der Kerk and a Siya Kolisi went to the one, that which I get. I'm with you. I celebrate that because I'm a proud South African and I love sport and I love cherishing all the moments with them. But we need to unite and be one. If we talk about sports, it's about all sporting codes. And that's something that I personally feel that can still grow. Like the Paralympics has grown from when it started till now. A lot of people are more aware of the Paralympic Games, but I definitely don't think we're valued to that. The question you ask about if we could hold at the same time, I think it's a brilliant idea to have the Olympics and just directly after the Paralympics. I'm just scared sometimes that the Paralympics is an afterthought, because they have a 2-week area where they basically prepare, because the Paralympics have more accessibility things that needs to be taken in consideration when the Olympics leave the village, to make it accessible for them. But I personally think from London to now, it's already grown, and people around the world are excited to watch the Olympics.
Yeah. Can that not just be done before the Olympics, though? Can they not, fit out whatever they need to just, suit both sets of athletes?
Yeah, something that I thought of is to link an event with someone in the Paralympics. Let's say In the 100-meter, Usain Bolt. Jason Smith is our fastest 100-meter athlete. So to link those two with each other and share stories together, if you know what I mean. So link an event with someone, big athletes, female athletes in para sport, to link that with a lot of big females, and then maybe have a chat together, like a question and answer, and we'll tell them like, that session. And I think to kind of give the world the perception that we have the same events, we go through the same things, we train the same. We actually, so I think that's the gel to this could actually also help if they link those two together, the stories and the athletes together, because sometimes when someone would say, like someone asked me, aren't you concerned about your surname being changed? And I was like, no, I'm Weyers. And one day when I have kids, I wanted to see that's Weyers running, not Lieberman. So I think that's important, to link the name to the performances and to a person in able bodies. I think that's something to think of in the future or to work on, Yeah,
certainly. Anrune, you say you're going to the next Olympics, 2020, 21, whenever it does eventually happen.
Yes.
But you say that you're lost. Why is that?
Well, I didn't voice it like
you're
before.
27.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm 27. Yes. So basically, before the lockdown, when they said the games is being postponed, I didn't realize how much. I didn't voice it to a lot of media. I think I never did. It was actually just something that I felt, if this would be my third games, I think having 3 games, having 10 years in athletics on a higher level, a professional level, is already that's incredible. And I felt my husband and my family has made so many sacrifices for me, living my dream. And I just felt that's this would be the cherry on the top to go to Tokyo and go get that world record that I want to run there, and the 54 I want to run. And in that chapter I really wanted to start a family. And I also want my husband to go with his dreams. He really wants to do his MBA, and he has dreams to further on his studies. And we have a lot of dreams together. And I really felt in my heart that that's something that I want to give him that opportunity as well. So we had a lot of coffees and chats, because when you're married, you discuss things together. And we had a lot of discussions, and he just felt he really wants me to finish my dream and to end it on a high. So I am going to run next year, and I'm going to be there. Yes, the age thing, I'm only 27, but I think if you had 10 years in parasport, and from the age of 10 till now, I've been blessed to run and I'm still going to run there. Obviously not to the Paralympic Games, but I think I'm going to do a bit of more road race running, and challenge myself in something different again, something that I can still do when I teach. So that was one of the things. And it doesn't mean when I'm done, I'm still going to do what I can do in parasport, and help where I can help to grow it, and to be part of it. So it's definitely not a chapter that's ending. It's just the next chapter that I want to start as well. So it wasn't easy the week that we discussed that thing out, but I still have so much fire burning in me to still run, and I still have something to go and do next year.
Well, I think we should say if you get a triple gold medal in the 400, 200, and 100, then you can retire. Otherwise, you need to go to 2025 or 2024, whenever it's going to be.
Whatever it's going to be, yeah. But like we always say, day by day, and I think that was one of the things that I was kind of hit back to, is that thing that I said, I'm going to work day by day to my dream, and with every obstacle I have, I'm going to take it day by day. So it just made me realize, go and do that and see where you are at then, and decide then what is the next phase for Anrune, and what does she need to go into now.
Anrune, thank you so much for your time today on Sport SA Daily Diary. It's been brilliant chatting to you.
Thanks,
good luck with your training. Good luck with the rest of lockdown, and good luck for that top step of Tokyo 2021.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for helping us to have a platform to share our stories and to get it out there. And hopefully this can help the brand of sports in South Africa.
Yes, let's certainly hope so. Thanks,
Catch tomorrow's episode of Sport SA Daily Diary, where we chat to the voice behind years of South African rugby, Hugh Bladen.